So what we're going over next, since we gotta keep this thing moving, is
Move along, move along.
they are starting a committee, or I can
Sorry.
never Anna Paulina Luna has announced the creation of a task force on the declassification of federal secrets. So that means UAPs, that means JFK, that means MLK, all the different papers. That even means 9/11. So there's all these different papers that they're going to start trying to get more information on, so it actually gets to the public and doesn't get redacted or whatever before anybody can actually read it. So
Who is Anna Paulina Luna?
she is a Republican. I don't know if she's Senate or House, but she's a Republican representative. So yeah, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, Republican from Florida, is starting this task force. And so I thought we would watch the press conference announcing this task force, because I am all sorts of excited about these documents regarding JFK coming out. Apparently, they found 2,400 unexpected documents. So apparently, the FBI just lost like 2,400. They didn't know where they were. And then when Trump was like, hey, release the documents, they're like, oh, we found all these new ones. How about that? We didn't know they were there, guys. We swear. So
Maybe they were recovered from Hillary's computer.
Oh, I'm sure that's what it was. So they found these magical $2,400 documents somewhere in their basement, and so we get to see those too, apparently. But anyway, I thought we would watch the press conference about this because we're into conspiracy theories on here, or folklore as we call it. So let's get
conspiracy folklore.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. Today is a great day for transparency in America, because today I'm proud to announce the creation of the Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets. This task force will be a part of the House Oversight Committee and led by the very talented and persistent Congresswoman from Florida, Anna Paulina Luna. During her time on the Oversight Committee, Representative Luna is a sledgehammer against government secrecy. She is committed to throwing open the windows for the American people to allow the sunlight of truth shine on the federal government. I can think of no better person in Congress to lead this task force than Representative Luna. Last month, President Trump signed an executive order to begin the process to declassify information on the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and MLK. This task force serves to build on President Trump's actions. For far too long, the American people have had reasonable questions of what their government, which they fund every day, keeps hidden about certain issues. And for far too long, the federal government has not answered these questions. This creates distrust in our institutions. That ends today. The voters of this nation delivered a historic mandate to President Trump on November 5th. The keystone of that mandate was demanding increased transparency of their government and elected leaders, and the mandate of this task force is to acquire that transparency. We will open this up for questions from the media, but first I'd like to hand it over to my esteemed colleague and chairman of the new task force, Congresswoman Luna, for her remarks.
Thank you, Chairman Comer. When our founding fathers stood against tyranny, they did not merely oppose taxes. They defended the sacred idea of individual sovereignty. They declared that no government, agency, or title could infringe upon the freedoms of speech, religion, thought, and the pursuit of truth. For too long, the American spirit has been dimmed by a veil of secrecy, by a government that has grown too comfortable in the shadows, denying us the transparency we deserve. But today, we stand at the dawn of a new era, where the light of truth begins to shine through. A few weeks ago, President Donald Trump made a historic announcement. With the stroke of a pen,
So let me ask you a question. You guys think that's going to happen? Or you think they're going to redact it before anybody can get to it?
They're going to try, at least.
Redacted.
Yeah, they're gonna try. They're gonna try. I don't know if they're gonna be able to pull it off, but I think they're definitely gonna try.
There's
what's
a whole
interesting,
bunch of letters with black lines through them.
Yeah, it's like a bunch, 2,400 documents of just like Sharpie. So,
Well, I mean, after them shutting down all this money stuff, the USAIDs, they're going to have the money to do it now.
they're gonna have the money to redact it.
Yeah.
How? Their money's cut off.
It doesn't even make sense.
Sorry. I tried.
It's all right. Strike that. Reverse it.
All right, Willy Wonka.
They don't. They don't have the money, so they can't redact it. Let's say that's what you're going for. So
Okay.
they're demoralized. Maybe they won't try it. Because what happens if they do redact it? What do you think happens? Like, say they put out all these documents. 2/3 of it are Sharpie. What do you think people are going to do? You think people are going to care? They're going to go, shucks. Or you think they're going to demand?
I can't read the
Answers.
Sharpie language anyways, so.
Well, it's just a black marker over the letters, man. There's nothing to read.
Oh.
Yeah. So what do you think? You think people are going to just let them get away with it? They try to redact everything?
Yeah.
Yeah? You think so?
Probably.
We've been paying taxes for how long?
Very
Our whole
long time.
lives?
That taxes are a thing, yes. So
Yeah. People don't care. They just do what they're told.
I don't know. I mean, I think you're right 90% of the time, but I think people are kind of mad right now. So I don't know.
Maybe you're kind of mad right now.
I'm always mad. That's like my default. So anyway,
Gary is the original Incredible Hulk.
no, I'm like
Yeah.
the Incredible Hulk if he didn't work out and gave up on life. But anyway, no, no, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think the politicians like the Republicans, the Trump administration would stand for that. I think they got too much riding on it. They've really drawn a hard line on it. I think they're going to demand unredacted documents, and I don't think they're going to let them pull that off. I'm sure they're going to try it, but I think they're going to get caught pretty early on. We probably won't ever hear about it, but that's kind of what I suspect will happen is some dude will try to redact stuff. They'll get called out pretty early, and it ain't going to happen. That'd be my guess. Everybody's watching them right now. You know, these guys, they always move in secret and do things when they think nobody's looking, but people are looking pretty closely right now. So I think we'll probably get some good information. It's just going to confirm that LBJ did it, but we'll probably still get some information. So, anyway.
Hey, my dad is building a Lincoln Continental.
Oh, is he?
Yep. And I told him to name it the Kennedy Head Canoe.
That's dark. That's
I know.
really dark.
That's what everybody else said too.
Wow. The mood just dropped.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, isn't it?
That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So, oh man,
Sorry.
dark humor. No, you don't need to apologize. Just the state of things right now, I suppose.
Committed to declassifying the files concerning the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A decision not just monumental, but pivotal. It is with profound honor that I have been entrusted by Speaker Mike Johnson and Chairman James Comer to lead the House Oversight Task Force on Declassification of Federal Secrets. Together with the help of the White House, our intelligence allies, the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, we will be conducting investigations into the following: the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and Dr. Martin Luther King, unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs, unidentified submerged objects, also known as USOs, the Epstein client list,
I'm sorry, I'm just not letting that go. UAPs,
Oh,
UFOs.
they transferred to that a long time ago.
I'm still not letting it go. I'm bitter. UFOs. The rednecks were right. Admit it. Eat crow and admit it, you freaking government people. The rednecks were right. You were lying. We all know it now. So
Why would they eat crow?
it's just an expression. Admit you're wrong.
Oh,
Crow. I'm assuming crow tastes awful, which is why they say it. I don't know.
It's awful greasy.
Yeah. Also, they were releasing the Epstein files. Apparently, Glenn Beck was on Patrick Bet David, and he was saying in about 10 days, they're going to release the Epstein files. And it is said to be very shocking.
What if Trump's on it?
Trump's the only one that testified against Epstein and landed him in jail the first time. I don't think Trump has a whole lot to worry about.
What if Trump is on the list?
Depends on how much he's on the list, I suppose.
he'll be blowing his own trumpet.
I doubt he's going to be on there as much as Clinton was. It 27 times. or something
Yeah.
like that. You know?
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's one of those, it's an entrapment thing. You know what I mean? I don't think a lot of these guys went down there knowing what was going to happen. I think
No.
it was just they went down there, were lured into bad situations, and they're like, haha, we've got you on camera. Do what we say now.
They thought
Yeah.
they were just gonna hang out and play golf.
Yeah, they probably thought something like that, and then were baited into a, like, suggested.
Turns out you have to do satanic ritual abuse.
They were jailbaited.
Now, that's the one thing I don't know, like, how far did Epstein stuff? Was it just like, haha, you think this is an 18-year-old, but she's 17, we've got you? Or is it much worse than that? That's the one
Way
thing
worse.
I'm not really
I'm
sure.
sure it's a lot of that. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Epstein was like, dude, he was trying to create his own race of people.
Yeah.
Was that Epstein? I've
He had-
heard of people trying
Yeah,
to do
he
that.
had
but
like
was
he had a harem of women he was like impregnating.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
he was into some weird shit.
Yeah, we may have to revisit that if the flight logs actually come out. We may need to revisit because I heard the story in the past, but it's been years, so that might be a good thing to revisit.
What's Genghis Khan? Is that the guy that he did the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, Genghis Khan did that, I believe. So
Yeah.
no, I heard of some billionaires trying to. I don't remember what they did a bunch of awful stuff. It's just people with bored trust fund kids with pot bellies and nothing but time on their hands. They come up with this nefarious crap. So
Origins of COVID-19 and the 9/11 files. This task force will be a beacon of bipartisanship. On the Republican side, Representatives Burchett, Boebert, Burleson, Crane, Gill, and Mace will be joining me, although I'd like to note that I'm expanding this to the entire governing body and will be allowing certain members to waive on. Our first hearing is set for March. The date will be announced soon, and
What's up, Cindy L?
we've already initiated close to a dozen communications with various agencies, to include Pam Bondi at the Department of Justice and the Secretary.
you say something, Cody?
We had
Yeah,
a
we got a
commenter.
Oh,
commenter. Said, "What's up,
Hi.
Cindy?"
Hi, Cindy.
hello.
of State. This will no longer be a task force that makes bold promises only to fade into irrelevance or send strongly worded letters. This will be a relentless pursuit of truth and transparency, and we will not stop until the American people have the answers they deserve. We will cut through the bureaucracy, challenge the stonewalling, and ensure that the American people finally get the truth that they have been denied for too long. If we are to endure and thrive as a nation, we must restore trust through transparency. The American people must be trusted to think for themselves, to form their own judgments from the truth that they are entitled to know. We've been treated like children for too long and kept in the dark by those we elected to serve us. It is my solemn duty to begin mending this trust, to form a new relationship between the government and the governed. Let us embark on this journey together towards a government that does not serve, but one that enlightens. That does not just serve, but one that enlightens. Trust through transparency, that begins now. Without further ado, we'd like to open it up for questions, as I'm sure many of you have those. Hands up.
Yes, ma'am. Will I get fired? That would be question number one. It's my job on the line. They pay. I didn't know. I didn't know that they. Yeah, it was at a party. They had all sorts of drugs. I didn't know. Please don't fire me. That'd be my first one. So, anyway.
Thank you, Aaron. Obviously, your goals are aligned with the administrations on the declassification of Martin Luther King and the Kennedys. How would you handle if you end up, whether it's President Trump or Attorney General Bondi or DNI Gabbard, if they disagree with what you're looking to declassify on a certain topic, whether it's UAPs or 9/11 or something like that? How would you handle if there's some stuff that they don't necessarily want to declassify?
Well, certainly, I think that they'd be supportive, being that they're advocating for this. But also, I want to remind the American people that this is bipartisan. There's also Democrats that are looking into answering these very questions. But certainly, we would share that information with the American people. This is about transparency. And I think, again, as I stated, for far too long, there's been a massive push to keep the American people in the dark, and that ends today.
If you want to learn how to edit really well from professional Hollywood editors,
no.
we're going to show you the stuff that
no
nobody else is
ads.
teaching.
Why are ads always like 3 times louder than the video? That makes me so mad.
Because you remember back when we were kids, the television
Yeah.
shows.
They did it on TVs too.
It's the same thing.
It's like 4-year-olds going, "Pay attention to me." Buy my thing.
Yeah, they don't have
Dude,
any
that dude said
rules on their sound, so
that dude said 9/11. Dude, what if there's no planes? What if there was no planes and it was all on TV?
That
And it
would
was just
be.
it's just a demolition.
That would
Like
hurt.
people are gonna freak out.
That would hurt my brain. That would hurt my brain. It's like how does that happen? No, I think that the somebody implied on here that the CIA knew. They might have known about the attack before it happened, and it's like a false flag in the sense that it was a stand down. That was one theory that was thrown about by somebody.
Yeah.
So I think it's this conference. I could be wrong, but I think it was this one. But anyway, yeah, it's gonna be. Do we want these answers? I mean, I do, but you
I
know.
sure do.
I'd at least like to hear them.
Again, I said this, I think it was last week. I just want the conspiracy theorists to go, I was right. I knew it all along. You all stink. I was right.
Right.
I want
I
the
told you
conspiracy.
so.
Exactly. I want all the conspiracy theorists to just scream, I told you so. Like, they need a song. They need like a choir song they can stick on YouTube. I told you so. Don't trust your institutions. How does it feel to be sheep? You know, that kind of thing.
Well, we need to start writing it.
There we go. We can write the ballad of the conspiracy theorist. It'd be great.
I'll get on the background music.
There you go. That'll work.
Chairman?
The task force does not have speed power. I do. The task force is going to be subsidiary of the full oversight committee. So if we have to issue one,
hang on.
Congresswoman Luna, I'll.
What's up?
Cindy just said, I heard there were no planes. It was Project Bluebeam. Who knows?
Who knows? Dude, nothing would surprise me. Like, nothing at all at this point. It's like, if it's terrible, it probably happened.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, there was an insurance policy taken out on the Twin Towers the day before.
Really? I
And
didn't know
it
that.
looked like and it looked like a controlled demolition. So
I didn't know about the insurance policy thing. I remember that Dad made the comment that the insurance companies for the travel industry all put a qualify in there, like they weren't liable for plagues. They added that fall of 2019. You know, so nothing to see here. You know,
they do be doing that.
yeah. It's like, you guys need to quit talking to each other. We figure out you were in on it all along when you do that.
We'll discuss it and we'll take appropriate action.
But in full transparency, we have a great working relationship, as I stated earlier, with the White House, with the DOJ, with the Secretary of Defense, and the Secretary of State. The incoming FBI director, I think, will be very supportive, and we've also been told that the CIA director is very supportive. To put it in perspective,
I don't believe him.
I think that this issue transcends not just one administration, but multiple administrations. And it hasn't been until now that we've been able to get people actually in positions of power that will push for transparency. Now, if I find that different entities in the various intelligence agencies are stonewalling us, I'm going to make that known to the American people. But as of right now, we are cautiously optimistic.
What's your priority list? Is Epstein 9/11?
Our first investigation will be announced, but it's going to be covering on a thorough investigation into the John F. Kennedy assassination. And I can tell you, based on what I've been seeing so far, the initial hearing that was actually held here in Congress was actually faulty in the single bullet theory. I believe that there were two shooters, and we should be finding more information as we are able to gain access into the SCIF, hopefully before the files are actually released to the public.
Thank you for doing this. Have you identified the Democrats who will sit on the task force, and could you talk a little bit more about the role of Democrats in this?
Yeah, so again, this is a bipartisan commission. Remember, JFK was a Democrat, RFK was a Democrat, and I'm sure that I think the entire conference has a question on what actually happened with Dr. Martin Luther King, but also UAPs. You guys know that that was the biggest bipartisan bicameral hearing that we've ever had, I think, in congressional history.
Yeah, and we watched that, and it was a complete waste of time. They told us nothing useful. 6 episodes, and we learned nothing. It was fantastic. So,
at least it was fun.
It was fun. It was fun going, wow, these guys were told not to say anything in the SCIF. Why are they even here?
Know who their members are yet. They've noticed it, but they're taking this very seriously. This is not a conspiracy theory investigating committee. We're actually looking to present truth to the American people. And it's in my opinion that no one person elected to office is more important or more qualified to look at the information that they've been hiding from us. And so we look to push for that transparency.
What sort of witnesses will you expect to have at your hearings? I know you said the first one's in March. Would that be department heads, former employees of various agencies?
Would you like to jump in? Yeah, I was going to say, based on what we're actually looking to do with the JFK investigation, I'm looking to actually bring in some of the attending physicians at the initial assassination, and then also people that had been on the various commissions looking into, like the Warren Commission looking into the initial assassinations. There's been conflicting evidence, and I think that even the FBI at the time reported some anomalies in the initial autopsy at Bethesda, Maryland. All of those, though, seem to have been rinsed and repeated in the media to push a certain narrative that we don't agree with. And so I think that in order to put to bed some of the theories that have been out there on John F. Kennedy, we have to know the full truth. And the full truth starts with transparency. And that's why these files is so important for the American people to read for themselves.
With this task force, what are you hoping to uncover as far as UAPs that you have not already heard from other UAPs?
The biggest information problems that we've had with UAPs is the amount of stonewalling, stovepiping, and also it seems that there is...
Does anybody know what stovepiping is? I don't know what stovepiping is.
It's like when you shoot a gun and it your barrel's too dirty, so the bullet gets lodged in the barrel, and then the explosion comes out the back into the chamber.
Okay. See, I've heard of stonewalling. I never heard of stovepiping. That was a new one for me.
I think she's literally saying the same thing, just in two different modalities.
Gotcha.
Hey, did you know the Zapruder film didn't come out for 8 years after the Kennedy assassination?
I did not know that. Huh.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, that is. It's a little suspicious.
8 years, man. 8 years. That's crazy.
What was it?
The Zapruder film, like the film that everybody critiques about the Kennedy assassination, like the video.
I haven't seen it.
Yes, you have.
Oh.
Yeah, you just don't know you've seen it. It's that one that they play where he's waving in the limo, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
I only played the game.
What?
Yeah, there was a game that came out about it where
you get to shoot Kennedy?
You get to shoot him.
Was that put out by the CIA?
I don't know who put it out, but
that's hilarious.
Wow. Huh.
It was way back in high school on the computer.
The internet's a dark place, man. It's a dark place.
We played it in the library when we were supposed to be looking up information about our homework.
Well,
that was by a company called Oswald Gaming.
I don't know.
Was it funded by U.S. aid?
I don't know.
Right.
It was back in 08 or 07.
That's funny, man.
Wow. All right. Well, the internet's a dark place, boys. Dark place.
This push to gaslight the American people into looking at the evidence and then not fully believing it. I think for us, if we're writing the budget, for example, into the Pentagon, if we're writing the budget overall for whatever programs might be out there, why is it that members of Congress who are given a top secret security clearance are being denied access? That's not a free and true government. And so for us, especially being that we have now a Secretary of State who's actually open to declassification and Marco Rubio, we're hoping to present that information and at least acknowledge it from a government perspective that we are not alone, but also let's see what the evidence is.
Thank you. Have you already been in contact with or started to send requests to these different agencies and federal departments for this information?
Yes. In fact, the letters went out this morning, not just on RFK, JFK, and MLK, but on everything that I had listed above to include UAPs, Epstein, and 9/11 and COVID, to the State Department, Department of Defense, CIA, and then also we'll be sending some to the FBI, and letters have also gone out to the NSA.
Just as an aside, I think Marco Rubio's got a bad rap. I don't dislike him as much as other people dislike him.
Well, I don't even know who he is.
Oh, he's a senator? It's amazing. I know this stuff when I'm not live on the air. Yeah, I think he's a senator, or he was. So now he's, Secretary of State, I think is what he is. So, yeah, he's,
Is it Marco
Rubio. Marco Rubio.
Rufio.
Close. So, No, I think he gets a bad rap because back in 2016, he tried to stand up to Trump like he tried to do the trash talking thing with Trump, but obviously he wasn't as good at it because, Trump is a master at that whole, disparaging people thing. So he tried, though. I always gave him credit for trying. It's like, well, you can't. He's from New York, man. You're not going to compete with that. But he tried. He tried.
Look, buddy, I'm the best at disparaging people, and you're not going to do it to me because I am the best. Okay.
I don't know how he does it, man. He gets those names, and some of them are just awful, but they stick, man. He just repeats them until they work. What do you call him? Little Marco or something like that, or small? I don't remember. Yeah, it was like Little Marco or something like that was his name. 2016, and you're just
it must
like,
be nice to be 6'2" or 6'3" and just be able to throw that out.
oh yeah,
Like-
oh yeah. I'm sure life is just like handed to you.
It's like, hey, little guy. Hey, little guy.
He's Secretary of State.
As somebody who's 5'8", it's like, yes, you can go straight to the lake of fire, sir. But
As of 23 days ago, Senate confirms Marco Rubio as Secretary of State.
that's what I thought. Okay, so I'm not insane. It was Secretary of State. All right, just doubting myself
No,
for
you're
no
insane.
reason. But yeah, but I had my
Insane in
facts
the
right.
brain.
So I was insane and correct. Thank you.
Okay.
Insane in the
that's good.
membrane.
Yeah. So okay. So he's the Secretary of State. I think he gets a bad rap. I think he's all right. So yeah, I just wanted that on the record for some reason. So
He might be a bad rapper. Sorry.
well, I'm sure he's a bad rapper, but most people are.
Well, you just said he was might get a bad rep or something
Oh my
like that.
God,
Bad
play the video.
rep, reputation. You're derailing us, Trevor. You're derailing it.
The House Select Committee on Assassinations, which did investigate both the John F.
Can't hear it.
Well, what's interesting on
Sorry.
that specific committee is what, to my understanding, when they actually brought in expert witnesses, they weren't actually people that were in attendance to the initial autopsy at Bethesda. But also, this is a bigger committee than just the JFK assassinations. We're also expanding into Epstein, COVID origins, 9/11s, and then UAPs and USOs. And so before, where we initially had some of these hearings, this is going to be an encompassing committee that's going to work directly with the White House on information that they're declassifying.
Just be quick.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Warren, there's the Warren Committee, but also the Select.
Correct. Correct. There's actually 3 different government investigations into the JFK assassination. But again, this committee is expanding not just there, but outwards into other fields. And again, we're working directly with the White House. In previous investigations, they didn't have access to the information that we are going to have access to. And so that's a big deal, especially if you're looking at what truly happened with JFK.
Are you going to get a top secret clearance?
I already have a top secret clearance.
You do.
All members of Congress have a TSCI.
I want
The question
a
is
TSCI.
do we get SAP access, of which Chairman Comer has been very supportive and will be getting SAP access as well. Okay, 2 more and then we're going to...
Did you hear his tone? Did you hear that reporter's tone? Do you have a top secret clearance? Do you have the right? As if they hadn't thought of that already. You know? Like, don't you hate it when people ask stuff like that? Are you qualified?
He's probably upset because that was the best question you could come up with.
Hey, at least it's not like that AI drawing. The top, but
Oh, the file
secret.
on the thumbnail. They couldn't spell top secret because AI is going to
Top
rule the
secret
world, but it
secret.
can't spell words.
Can't spell top. What?
It's like, man, you didn't even get that close. It's 3 letters. How did you screw that up, computer?
Top, but
It was like taketa. So, yeah.
Oh, I heard something today on one of
Did
the
you?
channels where this dude actually came up with the chip from Terminator, the AI chip from Terminator. He actually, using quantum physics, he came up with it and got it put together.
Well, how does he
What does it do?
know? How does he know it's comparable to the Terminator chip?
Oh no, it was just the guy I was listening to was talking about it, and
what are you saying? What's a Terminator chip?
Well, they have a brain chip that's like a CPU thing that that's like AI oriented or something.
yeah.
So, but I don't know how you would know that you've reached the level of the Terminator.
Yeah,
Well,
did he
it
make
was-
like a
Strange
homunculus
claim. It was-
robot guy?
it was kind of a joke thing.
Oh, it was a joke. Did he just
It
make
was
the chip
a-
to look like the Terminator chip?
Yeah, it was about that big, and it's a new updated AI, and he was using quantum physics to create it,
Quantum
he ca-
physics.
and he came up with it.
I would have to pick
I'll
his brain.
have
Like, what
to-
does that mean?
I'll have
So-
to look into it.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
does that mean?
I'm like, quantum physics. That means it's like a super duper AI. It's like, well,
Yeah.
can it
Well,
spell
quantum physics is just like physics that is.
super small,
not real.
right? I don't know.
It was quantum something. I don't know.
I think they just threw that term in there so it sounded fancy.
Fancy,
Yeah,
That's
what it
my
sounds like to me.
hypotheses. So,
probably. It's outside of my knowledge. So.
yeah, I understand.
Obviously, some of the questions on some of these topics, whether it's Jeffrey Epstein or COVID-19, the questions are obvious. What specifically, though, are the questions you're looking to get answered with regards to September 11th?
We just want the truth. How much did the CIA know in advance? But also remember, when you have only certain information that's shared with the American people, that's when conspiracy theories happen. And it's in my opinion that conspiracy theories can be detrimental. It doesn't mean that in the last couple of months we haven't been right on a few things. But what I will say is I think that we...
And by few things, she means everything for like the last 4 years. But yeah, conspiracy theories. Term invented by the CIA, by the way. Just want to throw that out there.
deserve to give this information to the American people. I don't agree with the stonewalling that's occurred. And also, how do we prevent things like it from happening in the future? And we have to know the full picture, and the American people deserve to know that as well.
Can we expect any collaboration with the Department of Government Efficiency?
I don't know what information Doge would have, but I would encourage them if they have anything on
Doge.
JFK, Epstein, or anything in between that they bring it to our office immediately. Okay, one more and then we'll wrap it up.
That was a dumb question.
Of course.
Wix.
Great ideas can come from anywhere.
They make great oil filters.
Wix?
Yes, they do.
What? Wix oil filters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wix makes oil filters.
Huh. Okay.
You didn't know that?
Wix. We were being facetious.
Oh, you're being facetious. Okay, well, I'm dumb.
What does that word mean?
Facetious?
Fish. Yeah, it means where you go to the fish and you cease us.
Yes. No,
I'm
it means
gonna go
silly,
fishing.
over the top. Facetious means silly, over the top, goofy. It has nothing to do with the sea.
Let's go fishing for Goofy.
Democrats and that he's cultivating a relationship with President Trump and has been critical of sanctuary laws. And what do you hope to uncover with this hearing?
Well, we have a lot of questions. Some of the people in the mayor's administrations have been vocal that they weren't going to comply with federal law, that they were going to continue to act as sanctuary cities. We want to know about coordination and communication they had between the previous administration. How did so many of these illegals get there? Who was paying for it? Who were they communicating with to be able to
USAID.
provide housing and so many other benefits to such a large population of people? Just the basic questions we all have. Who was paying for it? Who was leading the efforts to transport the illegals from wherever their entry point was in the United States to the sanctuary cities? And are the mayors going to
China,
comply with
UN.
federal law now? Are they going to work with Tom Homan and the national security groups in the Trump administration to try to deport the criminal illegals and stop being a sanctuary city?
Do you feel less worried about Eric Adams himself considering his signals?
Worried about what?
Do we feel less worried about Eric Adams?
Eric Adams, I mean, he was one of the first mayors to bring up the crisis situation, the fiscal impact on the city. So I think he would be a very good witness, and we have a lot of questions for him, just like we do the other three mayors. So,
Wait,
All right, one last question, then we're going to wrap it up. News Nation, let's go.
Can I ask about your relationship with whistleblowers? Is it going to be the normal process that oversight typically does, or would this be? Are you going to create a separate avenue for the task force?
I mean, we're all about the normal process, but look, if you have information and it's credible, we've always approached it in that I'd like to be the person that does the interviews for it, mainly because, especially with stuff like this, we want to make sure that there's, not bad actors that are pushing false information to create a narrative that's simply not there. And so, every whistleblower that does come forward, as of right now, there's people that have been publicly out there, for example, on the JFK stuff, that were actually present in the room at the operating room where he was actually brought to right after the shooting. So we hope to bring those people in to testify. And again, these hearings will be open to the public. I am also expanding this to the entire conference. So if someone's going to take this seriously and look at it through an investigative lens and get answers for the American people, they are welcome to ask questions of the witnesses, and you guys will all receive notice of that.
And we'll work with anyone who currently works for the federal government that wants to declare whistleblower status and receive whistleblower protection, if that's what they're interested in doing. And I don't think they're going to face the type of retaliation that the previous administration gave whistleblowers, particularly the IRS whistleblowers that blew the whistle on the cover-up of the Biden family.
And I'd also like to close with this. If you are an independent investigator, we are being told that the FBI has now located thousands of pages of documents that they lost before, specifically relating to JFK. We are going to get through as much as we can. We have a great team of attorneys. We have a great team of investigators looking into this. But it doesn't mean that we won't accept help from the public. And so we will be setting up a place for collection for people to present information. But again, this is about transparency. The government works for us. There have been people, I think, in power for too long that try to silo us and keep us in the dark, but that stops today. You're seeing that same message come out of the White House, out of the CIA, the FBI, and every other agency in between. So we are very happy to have the support of all of those individuals, happy to have the support of Chairman Comer and Speaker Johnson. And if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Oversight Comms, and we'd be happy to answer those at that time.
There you go. So there is the task force on the declassification of government secrets.
I want to blow one of their whistles.
That is not what that means.
Oh. Sorry.
Yeah.
Close.
We got to teach you vocab. It's just...
Vocab.
Yep.
It's not helpful. All right, boys. So there you go. Yep. I'm a little optimistic, cautiously optimistic. Wouldn't be just terribly surprised if it all goes awry, but yeah, a little hopeful. What do you all think?
Yeah, we'll see. Let's have a wait and see.
What else are we gonna do? What else are we gonna do?
Nothing. Whine and complain.
That's
all you can do, and there's no point.
It's very dour. You've been reading Ecclesiastes? Meaningless, meaningless. Everything is meaningless. You're in a very sour mood there, sir.
Yeah.
The book gets better. Just stick with it.
Yeah.
The book gets better.
You would be too with 600 wives.
I guess if you had 600 wives, you would be concluding it's all meaningless. Maybe that's what it was. Was it Jacob also said, long and miserable have my days been? I always thought it's because he had like 5 or 6 wives. So, Anyway.
I don't remember.
No doubt. You know that Bob Marley song, No Woman, No Cry.
No woman, no what?
No woman, no cry.
No woman, no cry. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you got 6 of them, man, you're a sad dude.
Rending your garments, wondering
According
where it
to
all
Bob
went wrong.
Marley.
Well, anyway, now we've done our sexist hating for the evening. So.
How dare you? She's a nice lady.
How dare
All 6 of them are nice ladies. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's all I got, guys. I think we've pretty well covered the major stuff. I wanted to get through the USAID stuff Saturday, but I was gone. But we covered it tonight, so we can move on to next weekend, or this coming weekend, where we will go over Bill, what was his name? Donahue.
Bill Donahue.
And his cat.
Oh, yeah.
You owe the people. You owe the people the sight of his cat. That was special.
We're gonna clip just the end of that video because I cut it out.
Oh, the cat going.
Yeah, the cat part.
Yeah. We need that on a loop. Just.
Yeah. We'll have to get that on there just to show people because I cut it
yeah,
out
we'll
before
watch
it
it.
got there.
That was special.
I mean,
That
the end of that video where he is at his house or wherever
Yeah.
he's at.
Yeah.
That's like, I think that's like the best part of the video anyway. So
it was
we'll just
for
start
me.
at the cat.
Yeah.
We'll start with the cat.
Yeah. Well, until then, this is the end of the show. So
Yep.
we're calling it good. Guys!
Everybody have a great night. We
Yeah.
appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Y'all.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.